Hi, afternoon. It's Tony Margaritelli here, Chairman at the ICPA. Nice to talk to you all again. Well, RTI is a bit of a dual-edged sword because it depends on the client base that you have. The smaller practitioners obviously are saying, look, they've got very small clients, 1 or 2 people on the payroll. Getting them to understand the implications of RTI was very difficult. Working out, can we charge extra money to sort this out for them was also proving problematic. If you had a larger client, then I think it wasn't much of a problem. But for the smaller practitioner, it really was a problem. It's very difficult to call it added value when, in essence, what you're basically doing is exactly what you were doing before, but doing it a different way, but you're made to do it that way by the government. So I can't actually see an added value to it other than that you're helping your clients remain compliant. And at a moment where there's actually no fines and penalties being sent out, it's somewhat difficult. I think, I'm absolutely certain, when the fines start rolling, and they will, I think then perceptions will change somewhat. But is keeping your client compliant with RTI an added value, or is it something that you should be doing anyway if you're providing the payroll service? I tend to think it's not an added value, but that's my opinion. It depends on the type of practice you are, and everyone has to work it out for themselves. Obviously, again, if you're looking at the small practitioner, the small practice, its major problem is that if you don't provide the service for your small clients, well, someone else will have to do it. And if someone else does it, possibly a bookkeeper or whatever, then it leaves you open to more questions, more work. You have to do more work to check their goods. So I think it is a hassle, but I just believe that you really should provide the service, and it makes life easier. You need to, if it's really, you perceive it's not for you, then maybe you've got to start looking at some outsourcing of your own and trying to retain control over it that way, rather than letting the client take it out from you and go to his or their own source. Auto-enrolment's at the latest in a long line of changes. If we listen to our chums in the financial services industry, we've all got to get going now. We've all got to understand what we're doing all today, and we've got to get ready for it all. Obviously, the size of your client depends on whether or not when they have to auto-enroll, and it's got to be dealt with. There is still time at the smaller end, but it is coming, and is it going to be, this one is probably definitely more added value than, say, RTI, because it's got the pension element involved, so maybe you've got something better to add to it. I'm absolutely certain most accountants wouldn't do a worse job than many advisors I've come across in my time, but that's another issue altogether. I think without a shadow of a doubt that we are going to have to mug up on this, for want of a better expression. We're going to have to impart more knowledge and information to our clients. Whether we're going to become pension, we're definitely not going to become pension advisors. My own research and talking to lots of other colleagues has shown that an awful lot of pension providers are not going to want to know small payrolls. They're probably all going to end up in Nest. But we're going to have to explain that anyway. So we will just have to take on a wee bit more knowledge, but don't get too suckered into the minutiae of auto-enrolment, because at the end of the day, it will be a case of the payroll providers, software providers will give us the necessary to actually handle it on a day-to-day basis. And if you think you want to become a pension advisor, then become a pension advisor and get the heck out of accountancy. If any accounting ware members, and indeed my own ICPA members, want to get in touch or comment on the video, we're interested to hear what the perception is of auto-enrolment. Is it seen as a far more added value option than RTI? RTI is getting on for a year. How have people coped with it? And are we actually wondering what will happen when the first fines hit us?